Hello. Have you ever thought of getting a golf watch? And maybe even a Garmin golf watch? And maybe even a Garmin S40 golf watch? Then this clip might be just the right one for you. I've had this Garmin watch for a year now. And I had a TomTom Golfer before, which I liked a lot. So, is this Garmin watch any good? Well, I'll explain the main features today, but now in this clip I'll describe what I like with this watch and what I don't like as much, and if I remember well, also compare it with this TomTom Golfer, which is not produced anymore, unfortunately, because I got used to it. But like with every device, I think you have to get used to it and you have to know the tricks. And these golf watches usually can do a lot more than you actually need. Garmin watch is sort of mid-range price-wise. It's not the most expensive and it's not the cheapest. There are cheaper ones which also measure the distances, but this I think is a reasonable compromise price-wise. Now if it's any good, let's see. I'm going to play a hole here and show you the different features. And let's go ahead. Before we go on, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like it. So you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you don't want to miss future clips. So enjoy this one. I hope it's going to be helpful. So this is the Garmin S40 watch, which looks quite nice also as a watch. It's now in a watch mode. And to play golf, we just press this button on the top right. We then get this image here where it says play golf, and the battery charge is 99%. So we just tap on the screen and it will locate the satellites to see where we are. And we are indeed at the Golfe du Rhin. If I move into the sun, you see that the screen is actually also quite visible. That's a nice feature in this watch. Am I going to keep score this time? Well, I'll say no. And just hit the cross. And the watch then prompts you whether you're going to play from the white tees or the yellow tees. And I will select the yellow tees, jaune, because we're in France here. So what does the watch show me? It shows me. So what does the watch show me? It shows me. So what does the watch show me? It shows me that I'm on the first hole, which is a par 4. On the top right you see a little red marker on the first hole so that you know more or less where you are. And it gives me here the distance in meters of 342 to the middle of the green, and 328 to the beginning and 355 to the end of the green. And this corresponds also to the distances that are shown here on this map at the first tee box. As you can see, this is a very nice fairway. In fact, it's a very nice club. It's located on an island between France and Germany. And there is an abundance of water, of course, because you have the Rhine on one side and the Grand Canal d'Alsace on the other side. And you can play here all year round on summer greens, even in winter. Now, you see at the distance, you see this bunker, and you might wonder, well, what's the distance to that bunker? Here this golf watch does not show you at first sight where the bunker is. That was a bit different in the TomTom Golfer, which showed you at first sight the fairway and also the distance of the bunkers. Here you need to scroll to a next page you see this little arrow at the bottom of the screen beneath 336, so you have to press that, and then you get this image here. It tells you there's a bunker which is starts at around 170 meters and goes to 203 meters, and it's on the left hand side of the fairway, as you can see by this C that's indicated, and this little round bit at the end of the green line that symbolizes the green. And I have this new driver here, Cleveland driver. Let's see what this ball will do and how it will behave. So try to aim a little bit more to the left. Now, what this watch does, and that's quite good, so it noticed that I hit a ball and I can select which club it is. In the app, when you initiate the watch, you can put in, or you should put in, the kind of clubs that you have. So I don't have a 3-wood, so I only have a 5-wood, and the driver, sort of for the more long distance shots. So I will select driver, and that is useful later on if you want to analyze your shot patterns. So I press the driver. Here I still have this image before. I'll go back to the main screen by hitting this arrow on top. So I'm back on the main screen. So here is where my first ball landed. And if I look at the watch, you can see that I hit 185 meters all in all. So here's my second ball. You see, and according to the watch, this is 171 meters with 175, 160 to go to the green. Yeah, I think that went to the beginning of the green. So, quite intelligently, this watch now asks me which of these 3 I hit, and probably from experience, and I choose the 5-wood. So I tap on the 5-wood, and now I walk towards the green, and the watch will tell me on the top how many meters I have walked, or how far the ball flew. So as you can see, the ball is here on this little rough to the side of the green. The green starts a little bit further on. The ball flew 149, 150 meters all in all, and I have another 22 meters to the middle of the green and 34 to the end. The flag is a little bit towards the end of the green, and the green is a bit tricky because it goes uphill. There's sort of a bump, a hill in there. But I'll try to play this ball here and show you another little feature in this watch. You can see this flag, the positioning of the flag on this green is not where it actually is. This is sort of pretty much the center of the green. And if you want to be very precise, you can move the flag with your finger by touching it and moving it backwards. Let's see. To do that, I just touch the green, and then I get this image here of the actual green. Then I use my finger to move the flag. You see, like this, if I move it to the front, I would have another, from the ball. I would have 20 meters to the flag. And if I move the flag to the end, it shows me that it's 32 meters away. But I must say, in real life, in reality, I've never used that feature. Because once I'm near the green or on the green and close to the flag, I just try to get it there. There are, of course, many ways how to get the ball to the flag. Some people might wish to use a 6-iron or 7-iron to let it roll. Tricky thing is it goes uphill and there's this bump in front of the flag. So I'm using my sand wedge, hoping to get more or less close to the flag, more or less in the general direction. That was more or less okay, but too short, as so often. You have to trust those clubs a lot more. So with my previous shot on the green, I used the sand wedge. That's correct. So this is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters to the flag. So this putt is a little bit uphill. I also think it'll break a little bit to the left. That's just a guess. I don't know, I'm not a professional, so I'll just go towards the hole, more or less. These are pretty fast greens, by the way. They're very, very nice. They're very firm, and that's one of the reasons why I like to play here. I'm not even a member in this club. Ooh! Lucky! That went in. And let's see what the watch says, okay? As I forgot to set the watch to keep score, it didn't register now how many strokes I did. But just to let you know, this watch does not register a putt. You have to put that in manually, and that's sort of a disadvantage, I think, because you might forget to do that. In the TomTom watch, you just had to put your hand over the screen and it would register a stroke. Okay, so now you can see here I'm on the second hole, a par 4, 380 meters. And here on the top right, you see this little thing has moved to the second hole. Now, as I said, I wanted to start scoring. So I press here. I'm on the second hole, so I could change that actually. And here it says start scoring. So I will do that. So now it should start scoring. Let's play this hole and I'll show you what the watch does. Now, as you might see here, this is actually a dog leg. So you see these trees here and those trees there. The fairway goes straight and then it goes to the right. The watch doesn't really show that. Really good hitters, they try to go over those trees here onto the fairway. I'm just happy if I hit it more or less straight along there. That there is a bunker in front of the green, and I can scroll down here to see other hazards. Let's do that. See, if I scroll down, there's another useful information. It says if I want to get 100 meters away from the green, I would have to hit 269 to get to that spot. That's crazy. And that's an information that might be useful for some players. Yeah, but we have the luxury here of being able to play 2 balls. It's really empty, there's no one around. So here's my red ball. Yeah, that one was straight at least. More or less okay. Yeah, the watch doesn't register the fact that I just hit twice, because I hit from the same location, but I will select driver here, because I hit the driver. So here's my first ball, 175 meters, and from the tee box against a slight wind, okay for me, but still about almost 200 meters to the flag. Second ball, about the same distance, 172. Look how nice this is. Again, I'll use my 5-wood. From here it's 204 to the middle of the green, 190 meters to the beginning of the green, and there's a bunker to the left. But you see, I don't bother to look at the watch for that, because you can see that it's really right in front of the green. So I'll just try to get as far as I can. See, that was a very bad hit, but again, we're looking at the watch. So that was my 5-wood. Press that. Okay, you can see it's 115 to the center of the green, and the bunker, as you can see, is to the left of the green at around 90 meters. I'm going to use 7-iron. Won't smack it, just try to get on the green. Again, the ball is lower than my feet. I hate those situations. Not so bad. See, now this is really an intelligent club prompt, because probably because of the distance, it asked me whether I hit 7-iron or 6-iron. I hit the 7-iron, so I pressed that. As you can see, it was not so bad. It actually rolled quite nicely on the green. Breaks slightly to the left, I have the impression. Missed it. But that's a nice bogey, not so bad. And let's see what the golf watch said. So the watch sort of assumes that you did 2 putts on a par 4. I actually did 2 putts, but I needed 3 to get onto the green. So you can change by pressing here. Let's say you did only 1 putt, you change it here. So you can change how many putts you had. Then you hit next. And here you can indicate whether your drive was straight, went to the right, or went to the left. So the watch doesn't register that automatically, but it's then useful in the statistics later on to see whether you have a tendency to hit to the right or to the left. If you don't do anything here, it just assumes that you go straight, but the watch does not register that automatically if you were too far to the right or to the left. But in this case, my drive was straight. Then you add the penalties, and let's say if you had been out of bounds or in the water and I had no penalties, I press done. Okay, let's go back and see how I went, how I did. So if I go back to the scorecard, see, I press this button here, I go to the scorecard, and it gives me 4, but that was wrong because I needed actually 3. So actually overall had 5 strokes. So you have to do that manually. 2 putts straight, no penalty. And now it's recorded correctly as 5 strokes. I hope I could give you an idea of how this watch works, what works well and what perhaps less well. I showed some of the main features of this Garmin watch. This is an S40. The S42 is a newer model but does exactly the same thing. The mid-range model of these Garmin watches, I still fail to see why you need something that's extremely expensive. A friend of mine who uses many golf gadgets actually prefers the laser finder, and he thinks these watches are okay to keep score in general, but to know the real distance, if you're that good a golfer, he prefers the laser finder, the viewfinder. For me, this is okay. It does what I want it to do. So it measures the distances to the greens, it measures the distances to the bunkers and hazards, which you want to avoid if you can. And for my own pride, it can tell me whether I have made any progress regarding the length of the shots for the various clubs that I use. There are, of course, many additional features, like the scorekeeping and analytics, but those are features that I'll show in an additional clip in the future. If you're interested in knowing what I have to say about that, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because then you will know when a new video comes up on my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again next time around. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.